Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to yet another speed build video. Today we are building in Newcrest and we are building a house called Modern Dream. This house is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, stylish family home and it's very different from my usual style. However, I have been finding myself looking at these sort of styles of builds on Pinterest recently and I thought I would give this a go. I think there's room for improvement, but considering that I almost bulldozed this lot so many times, I think it turned out okay. I just kept working and working and working on it. It's not a big build by any stretch of the imagination. It's actually on the smaller side. But I think because it's on the smaller side, it actually works better with the style of the build. I think I was initially thinking about building a modern farmhouse, but I think a lot of people are building those at the moment and they're doing such a good job of it. I don't feel like I could bring anything new to the table. So I think I'm going to save that idea and possibly do that a little bit later on, but that is definitely something that I'm going to consider working on. But this is definitely for me a different style of build to try out. I'm more of the suburban home. I have built some more modern homes for Oasis Springs. They're available to download from the gallery, but it's been a while since I've done anything like this, and like I said, I've been finding images on Pinterest of these sorts of styles of houses, and I did again work from a reference image for this build. But I made some quite drastic changes. So the part on the left hand side there is actually a very small outdoor seating area which I added in. The initial image that I was using didn't have anything like that. They didn't have any sort of greenery on the outside, so I've obviously added in all of these plants and things like that just to the front of the build, just to make it look a little bit more homey and a little bit more interesting and less washed out. I find these images on Pinterest all the time of simmers who have managed to create these stunning builds, and they seem so simple and plain on the outside, but they look absolutely gorgeous. But whenever I try and do something like that, I feel like it looks quite flat and boring. So I always feel like I have to add something very different to the build to make it my own and to make it stand out. I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever, but I'm going to stop rambling on about that. So this was a fun project to work on. I don't want to say I got stressed with it because that's not the right word to use, but because I was so outside of my comfort zone, I think I was overthinking every little thing and sort of thinking, well, what can I add here and there to make it look unusual, and I just overthought the whole process, and so I think that took away a little bit from the fun that I usually have when I build. However, as I said at the start of the video, I am quite pleased with how it came out. It is available to download from the gallery, but we'll get onto that nearer the end of the build. Again, the back garden isn't a big back garden, but obviously this is a smaller lot. So I think I could have potentially made it a bit bigger. I could have brought the house in a little bit further, but as you'll see when we go inside, there's not a lot of space. I'm lucky that I managed to squeeze 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms into this build. It was initially just going to be a 1-bathroom and a 1-bedroom build, but I thought let's utilize the space a little bit better, and I did some tweaking around with the floor plan and I managed to squeeze an extra bedroom and an extra bathroom in there as well, so I made it more family friendly. So I can imagine the kind of Sims that would be living here are probably quite stylish. They probably like modern architecture and modern decor, interior decor as well. So I don't know, maybe like an artistic family or quite a professional family moving in here. That's the vibe that I was getting, and that's the sort of family that I had in mind when I was creating this build. But we're just doing a little bit of landscaping around the house here. We do a little bit more, and we do tweak some of the front parts as well, and then we're just going inside. And again, I don't record myself doing the floor plan because once again it took me a long time, and I don't think that that's something that you guys particularly would want to see. And here we jumped from We're still building in Newcrest, but we're building on the lot to the left-hand side of the one that I was previously working on, because I realised that lot on the far end, on the right-hand side, is not very good for taking screenshots. And I was thinking, obviously, for when I take the screenshots for the end of the video, I wanted to be able to get the whole building, and I was struggling to find the right angle. So, and then I realised that it all looked a bit blank around the area surrounding the build, so I ended up putting some houses that I've built before from the gallery just on the left hand side and the right hand side there, just to make the screenshot look a little bit more full on either side of the build. It's probably me being a little bit OCD there with wanting to have certain things in the screenshot, but again, with me being from a Tumblr based background and me being very screenshot oriented, that was quite important to me. But again, it's not a very important thing to be talking about in this video, so I'm going to stop. So we're still working on the outside of this build. I was actually quite surprised when I put this video together how long this build actually took me to create. I must have just been very indecisive and very, I don't know, like very particular about where I wanted to put certain things, and I think that was reflected in the recording time. So as I said, I pulled out me doing the floor plan, because unless I can do it in less than a minute, I won't put it in the video, because I just feel like it's not something that you guys would want to see anyway. But there is a downstairs bathroom. The kitchen here, I think we end up removing that wall, if I'm not mistaken, that one that's just sticking out there. We put a dining sort of area in the back, and then the living room, which again does not have a television, I do apologise, just in the centre there. And then as you come in, on the right hand side, there's a small nook area where I have put an office desk and chair with a computer. So I think it's been a little while since I've put in a sort of like a study area in a build. I usually put a desk and a laptop in the children's room, which I've done in this build as well, but it's been a while since I've actually put one in the downstairs of a house, so that was quite refreshing. And I wanted to stick to very sort of like not dark wood tones, because obviously we have the medium wood tones throughout the build as well, but I just wanted it to be modern, fresh, and very, very green. So you'll see a lot of plants being used, but I use a lot of plants in my builds anyway, so that's not anything new. And we end up using the bar table from Tiny Living just in this small area here, just so we could fit 3 chairs in, because I thought that was quite important. I can imagine, obviously this house is designed for 3 Sims to live in. Obviously you can have 1 Sim or 2 Sims living here as well, but it's nice that they all have an area where they can sit down and eat as well. And then I mess around with these really nice flowers, wallflowers from Eco Lifestyle, but then I changed my mind and we end up replacing them with these wood panels from Get Famous, and then I changed them again to the wood panels from Eco Lifestyle. So a little bit indecisive, but then we work on this little office nook, which is what I was referring to earlier. So we just put it's really basic and really simple, but it's just obviously a desk with a computer on, and it's the best way that I thought I could utilize the space. Initially I was going to put a very small bathroom here, but then I realized that upstairs we didn't have space for a full bathroom, so it's actually a half bathroom, however you say it, a half bath room upstairs. So we put the full bathroom downstairs instead. So we ended up fitting a shower, toilet, and a sink. And then I had a lot of issues with this living space, because I wanted the rug to be centered with the second sofa, and then I couldn't do it without, and then I tried to do a corner sofa sort of situation, and then anyway, to cut a long story short, we ended up figuring it out in the end. And then I was very indecisive as to which swatches I wanted to use for the sofas. So I don't think we keep the blue. I think, if I remember correctly, we do like a cream with a hint of blue and yellow if there's a swatch like that, which I believe there is. So we do that instead. And then we put those like partition walls that came with it here, these partition walls here, we put them there to obviously just section off the entrance from the living space, which I thought was quite a nice idea. But looking back, I don't know whether I like that, if I'm being completely honest. A little bit of self-reflection there, but I'm not 100% convinced by that. But I think we end up replacing the coffee table there with one from the Tiny Living Stuff pack, which is a coffee table that I use all the time. It's just perfect for smaller spaces, and it works really, really well with this living room and this style of house. So here we are, changing the swatches of the sofa. So we just go for the cream. There's no blue in there, just to keep everything relatively neutral, because this house is quite neutral for my style. I usually do a little bit more colour, but I think it's colourful in its own way, especially with all the plants, you know, because I'm plant obsessed. I'm plant obsessed in real life as well. I have talked about this before, but I have so many plants. My husband had to stop me from buying another one last night when we went shopping. He said, we've got enough plants. He's right, but I still wanted it. So I promised him I'm not going to buy any more now. So yeah, and my plants also all have names. I don't know if anyone else names their plants, but yeah, I have a Swiss cheese plant, and I've called him Mayor McCheese. I'm not even joking here. Like, I always say, does Mayor McCheese need a drink? Obviously referring to if he needs watering. I'm going to stop talking about my cheese plant before any of you decide to unsubscribe from me. So we are working on the bathroom, and then it's very, very simple. Again, as I said, shower, toilet, sink, really nothing special. And then we work on the master bedroom. So the layout upstairs is a little bit strange, obviously because we've used the ladder. It seemed a bit silly to do a hallway as such, so you have to walk through the master bedroom to get to the half bathroom and then the children's room on the other side. But I didn't think it was too much of a big deal. Obviously, it's quite a quirky house, so the floor plan, I think, in turn would be quite quirky, and you would expect it to be. So that's what we've done. And there is a television in the bedroom, so if your Sims want to get their TV fixed, they can come and chill out in their bedroom. So I haven't left you completely out in the lurk there with no TV at all. So we end up using the one from the Tiny Living Stuff pack, which I haven't used for a while, and I realised how handy that is. It's so small, obviously from Tiny Living Stuff pack, why would it not be? But it's really small, and it's awesome. So then we're working on the children's room here. Again, because it's such a small space, I couldn't do a lot with it, but I did what I could. So obviously bed, desk, wardrobe, nothing too special, but it's still functional, and it looks quite cute. I think it's not one of my best ones, but given the space that I was working with, I think it turned out okay. But if you do like this build and you would like to download it to your own game, it is available to download from the gallery under my Origin ID, which is RachelPedd. If you would like to download the tray files for this house, they are available to download via Sim File Share. The link is in the description below. But if you have enjoyed this speed build today, please consider subscribing, give my video a big thumbs up, and leave a comment if you can. Screenshots are at the end of the build to follow, obviously, if you'd like to see what the house looks like in game. But thank you so much for joining me here today, and I will see you next time. Bye!